By George, I think I've got it.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
I saw that Bigfoot walking across the screen and I thought to myself, wow, they are real.
I ask us all, is that really reasonable?
Hybrothetical Thinking.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
I'll show you a little of the evidence for it.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
Researchers at Stanford University School of Medicine have pioneered a cancer vaccine that eliminated all traces of cancer in mice.
You could find evidence of that, my friends. You could change the world.
Hybrothetical Thinking, a podcast for the hypothetical thinker.
Greetings, travelers, and welcome to Hybrothetical Thinking, a semi-informative podcast that explores the journey from Johnny's brain into a big old butthole. My name is Nick Floyd, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Taylorius Nelsonian Maximus.
Johnny, I don't go into a butthole. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Gotta mix it up. So the way this works is that either Taylor or myself will do the research for our weekly episodes, and Johnny Jonathan McJohnster goes into every episode completely blind, like Billy Ray Cyrus. He has no idea what we're covering each week. And so here we are.
Gosh, that was the weirdest way to introduce me before. I don't even know what you said, but I was like half offended, and then I was like, that can't be the intro.
Dude, I don't even know what I just said.
Wow.
I heard a Johnny Joe John. That was good. That one's going to stick.
You gave me a nickname that I've never even contemplated. I've never even came up with nicknames.
I blew your mind.
You did. Yeah, I'm speechless.
Boom. Just like that. How's everybody doing?
Chakalaka. I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling good this week. It's only Monday, so it's a good start, I guess. Weekend was just fine. Interesting shit happened, but it was fun. Ate some pizza and such. Awesome. What about you guys?
Johnny?
I had a good weekend, good week. Nothing really crazy to report. I'm still kind of stunned on that intro. I don't know how to think about things.
Left you shell-shocked.
I'm pretty stoked. No, I'm stoked to talk to you guys, and whatever the topic is of today, I honestly have no idea, but I'm stoked. I am interested to see what this episode's going to be like, because previous episodes from Fake Paul, Malaysian Flight, and this last one with Bohemian Grove have been a little more serious, so I'm excited to see what Taylor has to bring to the table.
Man, if you guys can't tell from the top here, I'm back and I'm ready to have a good time. I'm wearing a brand new button-down shirt with French fries and hamburgers on
report, He is doing that right
now.
Dope.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
I'm hungry now.
He actually he ate a burger today after wearing that shirt.
I had a burger in my burger and fry shirt.
They give you some kind of a discount? You get 10% discount while wearing that shirt?
So tight.
I wish they did.
At any place that serves burgers?
That would be great, because there was only one of these shirts left at the store I went to. I will not say the store name because I'm kind of ashamed of it, but it's fine.
I didn't eat in that store.
Did I just have a marvelous marketing idea? I got to keep this to myself, guys. Oh, shit.
Oh,
remind me after this podcast to drop a bombshell of an amazing idea.
Oh.
Okay. What's the code word? Just bombshell?
I don't know. I'm going to forget it.
Okay, I'm going to...
Write it down, damn it.
I got it here. I'm writing it down.
Remind Taylor. No, Taylor needs to write it down because he's going to forget.
Taylor. Oh, yeah. What's the idea? Oh, he can tell us. All right. Damn it. This is so difficult.
Well, you want to know a bombshell of an idea? Let me tell you this. There's a piece of news that came out today that's pretty fucking crazy.
Okay.
I kind of want this to happen to one of the three of us, and I'm going to volunteer any of the three of us. Well, actually, there needs to be two of us in order for this to work. I volunteer us as tribute.
I volunteer as a tribute.
So, today, there was a successful attempt that scientists transferred the memories from one snail to another snail.
I heard about that.
No.
Yeah. They like inject the brain, right?
Dude.
Yeah, researchers successfully transferred molecules from brain cells of trained snails into untrained snails, giving the untrained snails the trained snails' instincts and seemingly their motherfucking memories.
There is no way, dude.
I heard about
it.
That sounds tight.
They've only attempted this
way.
in the 1960s, where they fed remains of chopped up flatworms that were trained to respond to light to other flatworms to see if the memories would transfer. The experiment seemed to work, though it was hard to replicate. And they tried it now at UCLA, and it worked.
What?
That's
I wonder why they
crazy.
chose snails though. Like,
Well,
Why
this,
not
it probably was
mice?
any. Well, yeah, I don't know. But
How do you
I
train
guess-
a snail? That's
yeah,
the
I
question.
guess, I guess that's the thing. I guess snails are easily trainable, easier than mice. I guess.
maybe less complex brains because they're like invertebrates, ill vertebrates.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you train a snail? You can't just be like, sit.
Yeah, and it's like okay.
The snail's
You know,
like, check
if
this out.
If you guys
I've
ever
been
put
sitting
salt on
my
a snail,
entire life.
they explode.
You know who
come
also
on,
put salt
Johnny.
on a snail?
I did it once as
Yeah,
a kid, but it's a
demons
fact. You
and
put
stuff.
salt on a snail.
Demons, serial killers.
That thing that people do.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You put
Fuck,
salt
is
on.
that a thing?
You put the salt on the slugs, man. Yeah. you
Oh, I
put
thought
on
it
the
was the
slugs.
same thing. Well, I heard. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
same
I knew
thing.
about
Yeah.
that. All right, well.
How old were you when you did this?
Oh, a baby. I saw it on a show, like a Bill Nye thing or whatever, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, cool! The slug's outside." And I didn't know it killed them, but I killed them.
I did
There's
it
no
too,
way.
man.
I swear
Oh,
to
you
God.
did it too?
Yeah, I did it too.
Oh, so because Taylor did it's valid.
All right, guys, I got to
Yeah,
confess.
exactly.
Oh, so Johnny starts it.
I also did it.
Okay. So I'm not a big bad wolf. You guys don't want to, whatever. So that's cool. So they're taking like brain fluids from these molecules from the
Yeah.
brainstem,
from brain cells.
brain cells.
Yeah.
What is there's a lot of parts in your brain. So they're signaling out the parts that are memory or like training, I guess, in your memory and your what's that called? Your
Membrane.
No, the memory. It's called. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but anyways,
like
so
a,
taking that
a
part of the brain.
routine that learned or whatever.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so they're taking that one specific part of the brain. Is it the homunculus?
I have
What's it called?
no idea.
I think it's called the homunculus. And
that sounds like a weird movie
Homunculus?
starring. Yeah.
I think that's a part of the brain.
The
I'm pretty sure that deals with memory. I'm not positive. Anyways, and they're taking that and transferring it into a different homunculus. And can you look up that word? I'm pretty sure that's the word.
Hippocampus.
Hippocampus. No, wait, no. I don't know. Regardless.
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotami.
That's got to be it.
It's the most dangerous animal in the world.
It actually is very dangerous.
Fact.
Watch
Aside
Jumanji, you'll see it.
from a granddaddy longleg.
Is that a thing? They have the biggest teeth to body ratio.
Granddaddy
Is
Longleg?
granddaddy longleg the most poisonous spider?
But I've heard that, but it's such a small amount. Like the
Tiny little
poison-
mouth, like it can't bite you.
I've heard that it's such a small amount that it is the most like poisonous poison, but it can't kill you. It can't hurt you. You know, it's like a
That'd
kid
be
kicking
crazy
you
if it
versus.
because they're all over my garage.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I had a ton back
They're
at home.
everywhere.
You're like Jeff Daniels in Arachnophobia.
I had a computer.
So I got a question for you, a good old hypothetical, if you will, a hybrothetical,
I will.
if you will, again.
I will again.
Starting with you, Taylor, because we're gonna shine the spotlight on you.
Light on me tonight.
If you could receive someone's memory, alive or dead, who would it be?
Ooh. Anyone's memory. Alive
like one memory.
or dead?
I mean, just their memory. They like you're the snail, they're the trained snail, you're the untrained snail. You're getting Freaky Friday'd.
So we switch.
Yeah.
I would say the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
Interesting man in the world.
You know he's a character, right?
No, but
No, that's a real guy, right?
it's a real. There's a guy like that.
Theoretically,
out there.
yeah. Theoretically, that guy exists.
There's a guy out there.
But is he really the most interesting man in the world, or is he just part of a commercial stating he's the most
Subjective.
interesting?
Well, any guy who drinks
Both?
beer is the most interesting.
Both of them?
What if his memories are just like he's
Commercials?
just in an old
Yeah,
person's
just
home?
the memories that they show in the commercials.
He was living on the streets, and then like they pulled him in the fucking Dos
You
Equis
look
commercial.
just like the guy aesthetically we want to use for this commercial.
I'm trying to think of dudes who have been with all the hottest chicks I know of, but all these, the only people I can think of like have some crazy side to them that I don't know if
Taramite?
I'd want to be part of. Like what?
Tagamite?
Yeah. No, I was like, Tom Cruise. He's probably gotten with a ton of mega babes, but obviously he's a psycho.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
What about
weird
Brad
teeth.
Pitt? He gets with babes, but I don't know.
Yeah, he also
he's,
had that huge Angelina thing. I don't know.
yeah, and
Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's got like a smelly sweat problem. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio. I could probably go with that. He's probably he lived that whole that crazy life with Spider-Man back in his days, his heyday.
Tobey
Were they-
Maguire?
Yeah, Tobey Maguire. They were like best friends. They were like.
Are you talking about
you
the
know,
movie The Great
Millionaire
Gatsby?
Club? No, no. It's like
I'm pretty
like
sure that's
they're-
the plot of The Great Gatsby, Taylor.
no, like their teenage years. They were like best buds, and they hung out at crazy millionaire parties, did all these crazy millionaire things. I don't know.
Like go to Bohemian Grove? Were they a part of that?
Like,
That kind of
butts.
shit, dude. That kind of shit.
Damn. Johnny, what about you?
Worshiping owls.
If I'm gonna switch members to somebody, it has to be some kind of like crazy, like Einstein level scientist, like Carl Sagan person, and I'd apply their knowledge to real world applicable things now and like change the world because back then they didn't have the technology. That was switching memories because they're dead. But I don't want to.
You're just receiving someone's memory.
If I'm just receiving it, then yeah, I'd go with one of them because they're both deceased. But if I was switching, it'd be somebody that like I don't give a fuck about because they receive my shitty memory.
Who would you think like a Leonardo da Vinci or?
I'd probably be
Einstein,
it'd probably be a scientist. It'd probably be like Nikola Tesla or something like that. I don't know if I'd be like Da Vinci because like, I mean, yeah, Mona Lisa, like super cool. Like he was an architect, scientist, like artist, like super
literally
cool things.
everything.
Literally, okay, I'm gonna go Leonardo da Vinci. Also, there's a movie called The Da Vinci Code with
the what code?
The Da Vinci Code.
Oh, the Da Vinci. That's a fictional movie.
Yeah, but
Thomas
it was also
Hanks?
a movie. Yeah, Tom Hanks. But it was a movie called The Da Vinci Code, and it had essence of Da Vinci in it, and it'd be a movie about me, and that's the coolest part.
So the bottom line of that whole entire conversation or piece is that you just want a movie made about you.
Yeah, it's part of
Aside
it.
from the fact that you've got a Ninja Turtle named after you.
Oh yeah, totally.
I guess there's room for us all to be named after an artist that a Renaissance artist, and we could all be a Ninja Turtle.
But I wonder if
I'd probably I'd want to be Leo.
I wonder if the knowledge of Leonardo da Vinci wouldn't hold up in this time period. And literally, I would just be like,
right, dude.
You're like
Yeah, right.
centuries behind.
Oh, yeah, right, dude. He's like inventing helicopters, robots, fucking tanks, dude. He
I'm
was
just saying,
inventing
like,
all this crazy shit. That's like
I'm saying-
today stuff.
I'm saying, like, I get that. Well, I don't know if it's today. I'm saying if I were to get his knowledge.
Like yesterday, today.
Okay. If I were to get all his memories, I don't know if that would assist me as much as somebody that was, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to say Da Vinci. Nick, what about you?
Oh, man, I don't know.
You had the longest time to think about this. Taylor was like, done.
Taylor knew right away, but the Taylor knows what he wants.
I want hot babes.
Call me what you want.
No, in retrospect, I think another cool one would be like some badass sports star. Be like,
Yeah.
you
Babe Ruth?
won the World Series. I don't know. I think Chipper Jones would be more my style.
Dale Earnhardt?
Chipper Jones seems like the life I would. Oh, dude, Dale Earnhardt, that'd be cool. Go out in the blaze of glory. But I think Chipper Jones is more my style.
Yeah.
I'd want the gratification of being the guy who always makes a sacrifice. And he got to be the older guy, and he's winning.
You're not switching bodies, you're switching memories.
Yeah, I'd want to
I
have the
understand
memory
that.
of like me doing all that shit and like
Oh, see,
being
I'd
a
rather,
legend.
Nah, I don't know. I'd be able to remember everything Da Vinci remembered, but that wouldn't assist me. If I were to be a superstar, like sports player, let's say like I'm like Wayne Rooney or whatever, you guys know who that is. But if I was Wayne Rooney, I would have all this understanding about Manchester United and like Everton, but that wouldn't assist me. I'd still be, I don't know, like I couldn't like I have the knowledge and the memories of soccer, but it's not going to make me like a star.
Is Rooney the one that looks like Flea?
Kind of, yeah. Actually, yeah.
Okay, so now I totally understand your point then.
You'd remember sports, though. Like, what's so fucking cool about that?
Well, he's just saying
No,
if
it's
he
not
was,
like
he wanted to
the
be a sports
sport,
star.
in my opinion. It's like the gratification of like the whole career. Like they did all these great things. They worked so hard. They achieved what they wanted to do. They had these great moments that were like storybook moments.
That's so selfless of you, Tay, because you want to remember that as them. I don't care if I remember it. I want people to remember me doing it. That's all I care about.
Well, I guess, that's kind of that's what I want too, though. I want to be the one who experiences that, and then, well, yeah, it'd be tight if it was Taylor, Snowstone, and Maximus that they remembered, but that's not the case. Hey, we're not talking about what is it going to be like 60 years from now.
Yeah, they're going to be.
We're talking about right now. Yeah, 60 years from now, that would be a pretty common answer, I'm sure. But
I would want a memory swap with Leif Erikson.
Leif Erikson.
Whoa, you want to discover America.
Yeah, imagine how tight that would be. Like, I'd want to find out if there truly was magic in Viking times. And if anyone saw that shit, it was Leif Erikson.
Okay. And apparently they may or may not have had encounters with large Bigfoot-type creatures.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I don't know.
Do Bigfoots, big feet, do they?
Bigfoot.
It's
Proper
Bigfoot.
nomenclature is Bigfoot.
Do Sasquatch exists that long ago?
Remember the podcast?
Oh yeah, you said Yeah. You said
they were more than
with
likely
Zana.
more prevalent at the time.
Yeah.
And possibly multiple types.
Yeah. All right. So you're okay. I don't want to get that train. Cool.
Squatch
backpedaled. He backpedaled real quick.
Get out of here, you non-Squatch believer. You get out of here right now.
I don't believe it. I wanted to know the fact. You're not welcome on this podcast.
Go back to your suburban home, you fucking nerd.
You nerd. Talking about nerds, my avatar on this program has glasses. What's up with that, guys?
Do you have an avatar?
Oh, yeah. Look at those glasses.
I don't have an avatar.
I see him. You look like, what's that from the Pixar
from the Jerry
movie?
Maguire movie?
Up
or something?
Inside Out?
Yeah, it's like the elderly lady from Up, I think.
Oh, Ellie.
Yeah, old man from Up.
Or the old man from Up.
Yeah,
but the glasses
grandpa.
are red.
Frederickson?
Yeah, they read. I don't know. That Pixar movie, I don't know, man. That one really is like, that hurts, dude. That hurts.
You
Such
didn't
a
like
sad
it?
movie.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a great movie,
I do.
dude. It's so
I
sad.
love it.
It's so
That's so
sad.
sad.
But that's a straight in the right direction, dude.
Dude, I don't know what it
very
is, but
sad.
most Pixar movies are like so sad to me.
Now they're becoming like Inside Out, like the whole like made up or like the what's it called? When you even oh my gosh, make believe thing.
Fiction?
Fiction, yeah, the fictional like friend. What's that called?
Man, that movie turned me inside out.
Died or whatever.
An invisible friend.
No, when you have
what is it?
It's like when
Metaphor.
No, it's like when you have
Bigfoot.
Stop.
That ghost?
It's a friend that you
Casper.
But they're not real. Like it's when you're a
Imaginary
kid.
friend.
Yes,
Imaginary friend, yeah.
their imaginary friend died, and I was like really sad. And I was like, wow, that's crazy that a Pixar movie is dabbling with these
Wait, did we watch the same movie?
these elements. Inside Out?
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't. It died for like half the movie. When she went into that pit of memories that like disappears, and he was like trapped in there. The thing with the scooter.
Man, I saw the Emoji Movie, and I'm getting that fucking confused with this.
Yeah, it was a sad section.
I regret to say I saw the
he,
Emoji Movie.
Sacrificed himself to let like the joy get out of the lost memories, and I was like, holy shit, that's so depressing.
Dude, I don't remember anything about that movie.
I wish I had an excuse to watch those movies.
Yeah.
Well, now you do, because your friend that likes Pixar movies definitely saw it. I'm not ashamed either. It's a child's movie, but I enjoyed it.
I'd watch it. I mean, I'd watch any Pixar movie. They're entertaining. All of them are.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen a bad one yet.
Really?
Cars 2.
Okay, yeah, Cars 2.
Well, I haven't
Whoa.
seen Cars 2, so.
I like Cars 1.
Keep it that way.
Keep it that way. Or Cars 3.
I've probably seen a small sample size of Pixar's movies. So
That's probably why you like so
those.
many
I
of
think
them.
they're amazing. Like Toy Story's a shit. Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude.
Toy
OG, but don't want the third. It's real rough, man.
Toy Story's great. Bug's Life is great.
You're great.
I'm great. We're all great.
That was good. So that's basically, long story short, they're transferring memories, and you're saying they could apply this to humans and start integrating like human consciousness and memories into each other.
Yeah, that's it. Just some simple science.
Simple science. Everyday shit.
Connect a few wires. No big deal.
MBD.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty crazy.
It's gotta be possible, man.
It's it's crazy that we had the simulation podcast, simulation podcast not too long ago, and now we're talking about memory swapping. So we're getting closer to the Total Recall world that existed in the movie Total Recall.
As long as I can be Arnold Schwarzenegger in that scenario, hell yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Today's podcast, just like last week's podcast, is brought to you by GLORP Gum. If you guys want to buy an amazing piece of gum and also get a free t-shirt with it, you can do that right now. The gum is delicious and the t-shirt is dope as hell. We have an offer code. You can go over to glorpgum.com and type in the code I'm a Broliver, I''M space A space Broliver, BROLIVER, and you can save 15% on an order of $20 or more, which is friggin' sweet. Anyway, Taylor, I'm real excited.
What's the topic? Let's do this.
The topic of today's podcast. You guys ponder quietly to yourselves.
All right. I'll think about what it is when you're describing it.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm strapped in.
All right, here we go.
I got to strap on.
Alrighty then. Picture this, if you will. 10 to 2 a.m., ex-Yogi DMT and a box of Krispy Kremes. In my need-to-know pose just outside of Area 51, contemplating the whole chosen people thingy, when a flaming stealth banana split the sky like one would hope, but never really expect to see in a place like this. Cutting right-angle donuts on a dime and stopping right at my Birkenstocks, and me yelping, holy fucking shit. Then the X-Files being looking like some kind of blue-green Jackie Chan with Isabella Rossellini lips and a breath that reeked of vanilla Chig Champa, did a slow-mo matrix descent out of the butt end of the banana vessel and hovered over my bug eyes, big gaping jaw, and my sweaty L. Ron Hubbard upper lip. All I could think was, I hope Uncle Martin here doesn't notice I had pissed my fucking pants.
What's going on?
Skipping ahead.
What?
And after calming me down with some orange slices and some fetal spooning, E.T. revealed to me his singular purpose. He said, you are the chosen one. You are the one who will deliver the message, a message of hope for those who will choose to hear it, and a warning for those who do not. Me? The chosen one? They chose me? And I didn't even graduate from fucking high school. Skip ahead again. It was so real. Like I woke up in Wonderland, all sort of terrifying. I don't want to be all alone while I tell the story. And can anyone tell me why y'all sound like Peanut's parents? Will I ever be coming down? This is so real. Finally, it's my lucky day. See, my heart is racing because this shit never happens to me. I can't breathe right now. You believe me, don't you? Please believe what I've just said. The dead ain't touring, and this wasn't all in my head. See, they took me by the hand and they invited me right in. Then they showed me something. I don't even know where to begin. Strapped down to my bed, feet cold and eyes red. I'm out of my head. Am I alive? Am I dead? Can't remember what they said. God damn. Shit the bed. Overwhelmed as one would be placed in my position, such a heavy burden now to be the one born to bear and bring to all the details of our ending. To write it down for the whole world to see, but I forgot my pen. Shit the bed again. Typical. Strapped down in my bed, feet cold and eyes red. I'm out of my head. Am I alive? Am I dead? Sun-kissed and Sudafed, gyroscopes and infrared. Won't help. I'm brain dead. Can't remember what they said. God damn. Shit the bed.
What?
I can't remember what they said to me. Can't remember what they said to make me out to be the hero. Can't remember what they said. Bob, help me. Can't remember what they said. ...
Taylor, what did I tell you about reading Limp Bizkit lyrics on the fucking podcast again?
What? What did you just do?
What in the world? So this little excerpt is from the song Rosetta Stoned by the band Tool off of their album 10,000 Days.
Oh, I thought you created it yourself.
I wish. I'd be making billions if I wrote that shit myself. Billions, I tell you.
So you just... Okay. What does that mean?
So the author here is obviously referencing an experience that he had with a hallucinogenic substance. He's trying to explain to the people around him that he has been given some crucial info from what seems to be, yep, you guessed it, an extraterrestrial being.
I thought so.
Unfortunately, he cannot remember exactly what he was told, but he knows that it was very important. So his battle here is with accepting the possibility that the experience was a fabrication or confabulation brought on by the mental accelerator or the hallucinogen that he ingested, or was this experience based on reality? In other words, did he experience this from a point of view outside of his own body? Which brings us to today's topic. OBEs.
Out-of-body experiences?
Out-of-body experiences.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, that's cool.
Hey, the table over here lifted up. I think Johnny got an erection.
I got an erection.
Is your table made out of paper kites? Because
wow. No, definitely.
If you listen closely, you can hear it.
Sounds like...
It's definitely a cool topic, man. Really cool. I thought E.T. definitely extraterrestrial stuff, but I didn't think we were doing out-of-body stuff. That's really cool. What a cool topic.
Johnny's been out of body a couple times.
I have actually been out of body a couple times.
What took you out of body today?
I swear, not today, but I have in my. Usually, it's been some kind of hallucinogen, but I definitely have seen myself in a third person for sure.
How did this come about? How has this happened?
Well, one of the experiences was smoking cannabis. Cannabis.
Okay.
Cannabis. And I remember vividly at a bonfire and watching myself over my right shoulder, third person, be like, Johnny, don't fuck this up. I was just with buddies of mine.
Fuck this up,
Like,
Johnny.
I was just like, yeah, I was like, and it was so stupid. I remember when I was like, I was like, why was I? It was the weirdest thing, but I remember not in my body. I was looking at myself, and I was like, at one point, I went to hug the fire, and I was like, telling
That's
myself,
like the last thing you want to do. Is
yeah, I know. And so I was telling myself not to from third person, and my friends tell me, days later that I was talking to myself the whole experience. So that happened once. I've lucid dreamed a good couple times. REM cycle dreaming, and
I'm pretty
when
sure
you
that
lucid dream, it's like, what?
That cannabis was probably laced with some sort of LSD. You should probably get new friends, John.
Sounds like your friends were doping you.
Probably not. No one else had that experience.
It sounds like peyote. Like it sounds like you went on a peyote trip.
A couple lucid dream stuff, and then whenever I go to the doctors, I get nitrous oxide, like a high dose of nitrous oxide for like laughy gas. Essentially, it's what the chemical compound is. It's like N2O2, nitrous 2, whatever, N2O2. And whenever I am on this substance, every time I spin around the room out of my body, and I go back every time. I only use this dentist because I always have these awesome experiences with the illegal substance.
Like, yeah, let me hit that and stuff.
I literally tell him. I always say crank it.
Crank it to the max.
I always say
crank it to 11.
But this one goes 11. Yeah, but 10's the highest, and this one goes to 11.
It's to 11.
No, every time I go back, and the same nurse is there, and she controls the whatever machine, and I always say, yeah, crank it, Susan, and she fucking cranks it.
Crank it up, Susie. I'm ready to ride, baby.
I'm ready to party.
Yeah, and so I had my headphones on. I listened to like Fleetwood Mac. I listened to Zombies, and I just I have one of the headphones. This headphones I'm wearing right now. I have one turned out, so my dentist, Dr. Stout, can listen to me while I trip balls. Fact. It's a fact. It's a real fact. I'm actually gonna head back in about 4 days.
You get there, and you're like,
that's
hey,
crazy.
Hey, Susan, today can I wear a party hat?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it's going to be a different experience for me if I do. Like, all right, Johnny, here.
Dude, they have a blanket for me waiting every single time. It's a fact.
Is it weird that her name? Is it weird that her name is also Susan?
Oh, because of my nickname is Susan.
Oh, bird.
A little fact for the viewers.
Social circle burn. Oh,
you think is
no one gets that joke.
My nickname at the company is Susan. This is the joke Taylor is referring to.
Check.
Johnny's nickname is Susan.
Yeah, is what it came down to.
Suzanne, depending on your ethnicity.
For the dumbest reason, but it's the fact.
I'm really concerned about your friends and your friendships.
Dude,
I feel like you were definitely laced with some sort of.
Every other time was fine.
Yeah, well, but this one time.
I think it was just me. I think it was just my mindset, and it was crazy. I mean, it was the same thing. Like my doctor says, I am super susceptible to any intoxicant. Local anesthetics put me out. That's supposed to be a numbing agent, and I get fucking knocked out. Like alcohol, I'm a lightweight. Any substance, my body's like, all right, turn off the lights and let's party. So I don't think it's the substance. I think it's just my body being like, dude, all I want to do is have something in me that sounded really bad. That sounded really bad. I'm gonna stop there. Four, and no, I'm done. I'm done.
All right, Taylor.
So now these experiences, they can be drug induced, as Johnny describes, and as our bud Maynard James Keenan here from the band Tool in this song describes. They could also be brought on by meditation, as we've seen with Sir L, the Walker of Skies, in the blockbuster hit franchise Star Wars, starring Harrison Ford and Warwick Davis. Or they can be caused by near-death experiences, or NDEs, as they're known in the biz. They may be caused by shit that I can't even mention on the air, guys. Some crazy shit that we can't mention on the air because we can't imagine it. We have no idea.
Oh.
Now, some of you listeners may think, oh, hogwash. There ain't no way EBEs exist. These people are just having hallucinations, freakishly detailed and accurate reconstructions of the world around them as they lie seemingly unconscious. That's just absurd.
Yeah.
To that, I say piss posh. Pish posh.
To that, I say piss posh.
Because I know, and I'm sure a lot of you people know, people like Johnny who claim that they've had out-of-body experiences once or multiple times in their lifetime. Or their near-death time.
Everyone knows a Johnny.
Everyone knows. Unfortunately, everyone knows a Johnny. And on another level,
Ouch.
most people know someone. They say like 1 in 5 people claim to have a near-death experience.
Yeah, I know more than 5 people. Definitely.
So my dad has claimed to have had 3 of these experiences throughout his lifetime, where he has an out-of-body experience where he can look down and see himself. So the common out-of-body experience is where, let's say you're lying on the operating table or something, and you're out. You know you're out. Everyone else knows you're out.
Like a general anesthetic?
Yeah, you're fucking out. You may be in a coma, you know, or like, shit like that. You gone. You out. But the patient, the survivor recalls the out-of-body experience where they're like hovering above their hospital bed, looking down, and they can see themselves and they can describe all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like all this shit that really happened. So my dad, like his first 2 that he had, he was like a kid. Like one, he was like 8, 9 years old or something. He got like thrown into into the lake. They were swimming in the lake with his cousins and shit. And he just got thrown under the water without being able to take a breath. And they were just kind of roughhousing. He was under the water for a while.
Sounds like he had big friends.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, there were a lot of Taylor and Nicks, I guess, that he was hanging out with. But so that was one. He described like he was like hovering above the water. He could see the whole situation happening, and he eventually got out of it. And, like very similar thing when he was like 19 or 20. He was like rafting with some buddies. And they go over this like mini waterfall or whatever, and he gets caught in like the churn, at the bottom of the waterfall. And he's just like in there. And the same situation. He pictures himself hovering above him. And then when he was in the hospital having surgery on his abdomen, he said he's popping in and out of consciousness the whole ride on like the gurney. And each time he like pops out, he like pops into this out of body experience where he's like hovering above the gurney. And you can like see everybody around the gurney. Everybody like freaking out and doing all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said when he was actually getting the operation. I mean, he's totally out for that. He was like hovering above the operating table, just like watching the whole thing. Said he doesn't necessarily have any very detailed or gory memories of it, that kind of detail, but just more of the overall situation of how shit was going in the room. And it's pretty crazy because, while he is open-minded, he's like not into the supernatural and that kind of shit. Like, so for you actually being a skeptic on fucking every topic we bring up.
Okay.
It is odd that you would be like, yeah, I have out-of-body experiences all the time. I float in and out of this realm.
I think it's
frequently.
That's how it always starts like that. It always starts every time. He's like, yeah, Bigfoot, I believe in it. And then 45 minutes into the podcast, he's like, yeah, but... Like, he was totally on board with the augmented virtual reality shit, and then, like, you brought up the double slit theory, and then all of a sudden Johnny's like, yeah, I'm a skeptic.
I didn't say that with that. I think you're referring to different podcasts. I definitely believe in virtual reality and, like, different...
Well, yeah, you believe it because it's real.
No, I mean, not virtual reality, sorry. Simulations. I believe that we're, like, I have solipsism. I totally believe in that. What, Taylor, I think what you're getting at is that Nick, I think as well, is that I'm a flip-flopper.
You are what we call a flip-flopper.
I would say that is very common. It's very common in a lot of realms when it comes to like mythological creatures, because I'm not agreeing with you the whole time. I'm trying to see it through your eyes, all the information you're giving me, but at the end I have to formulate an opinion. And at that point I will say yes or no. It's not going to be, it's a gray scale. So I don't know if I necessarily flip-flop. I just want to believe everything you're giving me, like the fake Paul thing, the whole entire time. And at the end I'll say, do I agree or not?
One thing you need to know about my point of view is that often my eyes are closed. So
what? What does that mean? What does that even mean? So
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
So
yeah.
This isn't
Oh,
spirits.
God.
This isn't. This is purely on personal experiences, and I think I've had the experience, like Bigfoot. I haven't had that experience.
Yeah, but you were high.
Every single one of the experiences, I was under some hallucinogen. What is it? There was the
heroin.
bonfire.
So
and then
not
it was
only
the
is
dentist.
Johnny the car guy, he's also the resident drug guy.
I'm not at all.
What don't you do, Johnny? Boat guy, drug guy, car guy.
I'm everything, guys. No, I definitely, I believe in this one.
That guy at the dentist who likes to get really high off the thing that's supposed to help him.
Dude, nitrous oxide is supposed to make you like lose your fucking mind, but it's just such a low dosage. You know, if you have oxygen, a pure form of oxygen, like the stuff you breathe, O2, the pure form of it, you will hallucinate. It's like
there's oxygen bars that you can go do that.
So that's kind of crazy.
It's healthy.
Don't. Hey guys, don't do oxygen and drive, please.
Yeah,
Don't do oxygen and drive.
Healthy.
Oddly enough, A couple of episodes of Pimp My Ride, I believe, had oxygen bars in the car. Shame on you, Exhibit. Shame on you.
Wait, oxygen bars date back that far? Back
Oh my God, yeah.
Exhibit
That's
was
when
relevant?
they were like,
Pimp my
dude, they
ride.
were peaking at that time. They were peaking.
I've only seen a couple of them. But what I was getting at is that I totally want to believe in everything any of you guys put forth. But at the end of the podcast, I will tell you how I really feel. And I don't care if you disagree with me or agree with me. I will say how I feel.
Okay, well, little disclaimer for you, Johnny. I want you to know that I'm presenting you with 100% things that I believe could possibly be true.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I would
there
never
is-
assume. I would
there
never
is
assume
that.
I would never assume you were extremely wrong, and now the Nick you either. But
I couldn't steer you wrong.
I already believe in this, so I'm stoked to hear more information about it because, like, I've had it. You can lucid dream at home. There's ways to do it.
You can
Right.
train yourself to lucid dream.
Yeah, and you can have out of body experiences. Well, if you're committed enough, whenever you want.
I want to try flatlining.
I don't want to try that.
Living life dangerously.
I also like to love life changes.
All right,
Can you
kill me.
explain exactly how do you flatline? How do you get to the point where you're about to flatline? You choke yourself? You get choked?
There's different ways, I'm sure. So wherever you get to death, and you hold yourself there.
Yeah, I think the way the kids are doing it is you find the basement of some sort of medical college, and you strap someone down, and then you suffocate them up until the point right before they die. They flatline for a moment, and then you bring them back.
Isn't that what they did to like Wade Wilson in Deadpool 1? And then he turned into like
Yeah,
Deadpool?
they also did it in the movie Flatliners.
Yeah, but this is Deadpool before Flatliners, I'm pretty sure.
That seems fucking crazy. So they're just inducing these out of body experiences to
Well, they're experiencing them
possibly
too.
just trip out.
What
right?
death is.
Yeah, they're experiencing. They're experiencing the out of body experiences in death.
Yeah,
in the
which
context of death.
it has to be
Which-
crazy.
It has to be crazy. And that's like part of what this podcast is going to lead into is like, is that something that happens? Like, is that part of dying? Like, you're having this out of body experience because you're going like whatever your soul is, is like
Well, Taylor,
somewhere?
you just offered up the idea that in medical tables, like with your father, when you're on a gurney, when you're on an operating table, that's when the majority of out of body experiences happen. And I would agree with you. I think aside from souls, your body, I think, can sense the idea that you could be dying, and that's when those out of body experiences are being induced. And so it's got to be a case of when you're close to death, when your body thinks you're close to death. Those of you at home, if you've ever been in a car accident, really like you think you're gonna die, that's when your mind like goes nuts,
races, racing and stuff.
So
that all makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that like your body's freaking the fuck out, your mind is shutting down, and it's like it just kind of reconstructs the area around you based off the things that you've noticed, or maybe what you know about a doctor's office. And it just recreates that general scene in your mind, and you feel like you're witnessing it when maybe
possibly.
it's just a construction. But here's where it gets really weird: is when people start describing details that were not visible from their vantage point, or things that why would they have these details?
They didn't know about them. They couldn't have known about them from where they were.
Right. And one example is my grandfather, right? So he had an OBE while having an NDE in the 60s. So he had an out-of-body experience during a near-death experience.
Oh, okay. All these abbreviations, guys. I'm not that smart. Okay, bring it down. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so his OBE during the NDE was in the 60s, like late 60s. He got in a car crash. Him and his wife, fatal. I'm not sure what happened to the other car. Possibly fatal. I don't know. It was like a really bad car crash, I guess. At the time, he was practically blind without his glasses. In this crash, his glasses fly off, obviously, like they would do in a crash.
Mm-hmm.
He was unconscious as well. Gets taken away from the scene of the crime, the scene of the accident or whatever, cleaned up. Later describes to the T the scene of the crime, what things looked like around the cars, what the other car was, what happened to the people in the other car, like details around the scene. This was there, that was over here.
He couldn't have known.
Couldn't have known. He's fucking blind, so he couldn't see these things. And even if he could vaguely see these things, he was unconscious and not walking around to look at these things. He was just sitting in the car until taken away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can't see these things. And he was also like a very stern dude who would, kind of like my dad, he would not believe in this hocus pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Also, a blockbuster film
I like that movie a
starring Vanessa Shaw.
Bette Midler.
That's fascinating, Taylor. Because there's no way else you can explain that besides an out-of-body experience or some ability, that you're able to perceive. Because there's no way he could see that stuff without something else playing a role.
Right.
Right, yeah. So, are you able to tap into some shit that's like this ever-present, everywhere kind of thing that you astral project into, and you can just go anywhere it exists? Like an
infinite knowledge kind of thing? Like you tap into
there's this infinite presence
infinity.
that you could exist anywhere in, and you can essentially float around being anywhere.
Or some shit.
I'm not gonna blow a hole in this because it's not gonna
blow a hole in it. Blow a hole in it.
So Nick can do it, but I freaking can't. Okay, you go.
Hit me with the spare gun.
I'm gonna make things dark for a minute.
Oh, great!
Real dark.
I'm gonna make them dark because I don't talk about this a lot.
Okay,
but I always, growing up as a kid, all of my dreams were very vivid. Borderline lucid to the point where I felt like I was experiencing something, which is not the same as an out-of-body experience, I guess, but things that didn't exist. I could feel things in my sleep where I'd wake up and feel like that happened. There's one dream I had when I was 17 that I robbed a bank, and I woke up and I checked my room because I thought the money was in my room.
$100 bills stuffed in your boxers.
You were convinced.
Yeah, I was convinced that it happened. I watched the news. I was I woke up in a sweat, and I thought, I was holy shit, I just robbed a bank.
It was so real to you.
Yeah, it felt so real, and I guess that's out of body. But on the flip side of that, around the same time when my dreams were very borderline lucid, I won't say lucid all the way, but they were very borderline lucid. I got in a very bad car accident. And I always one of my biggest fears of everything is the fear of death, fear of dying. And so it's common.
So it keeps you alive is the fear of death.
Yeah, exactly, Johnny.
Yeah,
and
I
was the only one on the road. There was no one around me, and the back right tire popped and pulled me into the median in a ditch, and I rolled the car 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And it was black, completely black. I don't remember anything. There was no out of body. I don't recall. I remember the car starting to flip, and then I remember being upside down in the median, and I remember hearing a bunch of yelling, and I immediately had the adrenaline rush. Unclipped the seatbelt, crawled out of the car, and then all of a sudden there was a shit ton of cars on the side of the road, running towards me. And when the crash happened, there was no cars.
So you saw cars coming towards you.
When I crawled out, there were probably 20 or 30 cars on the side of the road checking to see if I was okay.
Oh, I thought you said they were headed towards you.
No, not headed towards me. I was in the grass in the medium. But for someone who, I'm not going to stay on the car accident because I'm clear, I'm here, I'm present, I'm fine. It's the only car accident I've ever been into. It was serious, but I'm here, and that's what matters. For someone who has dreams like that are so real, it didn't make sense to me that I didn't have any sort of out of body experience or have some sort of last piece of knowledge or some sort of reminder. There was some stuff afterwards that felt surreal, moments. All the moments after the car accident felt very out of body, but I was clearly there, walking, talking, communicating. Yeah.
Could be your adrenaline pumping, just getting you in that super pumped up state.
Exactly. But the closest thing to saying it was out of body was in the snap, in that first flip when everything went black. It was almost accepting the one thing that I feared the most,
which is death.
Yeah. So, I mean, sure, maybe I can consider that out of body in a way because, I felt nothing.
Yeah.
And it all went away. It all happened very fast, but there was no fear. There was no agony. It just happened.
Yeah, that's the idea that under excruciating pain in your last moments of life, your mind just makes it bliss.
Right.
Yeah.
But there wasn't even that. It was just empty. It was nothing.
Huh.
And so that I don't go back to that and think about it often, nor do I talk about it often, but it's for someone who had a lot of very vivid dreams and very close to out-of-body experiences in my own dreams, it was very confusing to me in that time why I didn't have one then.
Right.
Well, I'm sure it affects people differently. Like, I'm sure there's people out there who will never have one or never have an out-of-body experience, never can lucid dream. But I don't know. Like, I've experienced similar things to that in less threatening situations than a car accident, like blacking out and like feeling bliss. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure there is some kind of like thing in your mind that will switch off and you're in bliss under that extreme situation. But to me, out of body, because of my experiences, have always been like where I can physically see myself and I'm judging myself. That's always been like third person Johnny. But for you, I'd see that as like a near death experience, like your final moments, like your mind, like kind of like letting go.
Right. And that's why it's interesting. I mean, I know, Taylor, you have like a ton of more information on this, but like
taking so
much.
Sorry,
but like
dude.
between the fact that the near death experiences and the out of body experiences are like married in a sense, like they're very similar.
Absolutely.
And they happen.
Yeah.
It's crazy because they're both so similar, but they're also so different at the same time.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It is crazy that
it's nuts.
Maybe it means maybe you weren't physically actually like dying. You know what I mean? Like it was a situation that you easily could have died. But maybe just the luck would have had it. Like, did you have severe injuries and stuff?
I believe it or not, I did not. I had a little bit of glass in my left arm.
So that blackout probably had to be some kind of G-force induced thing because like your body had no reason to shut off.
Yeah.
That you just started to flip and so there was no impact. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it was probably like stress, like at that point it was like, oh shit.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like super protect mode.
Yeah.
But maybe you weren't like literally at that point where you're like tick tock tock about to die, you know what I mean? And maybe that didn't kick it in.
It didn't trigger the
it
OB.
didn't trigger the actual out of body experience. Like no, like it wasn't needed or whatever. Maybe the out of body experiences are like right there on the cusp where you have to have this out of body experience or whatever to move on to whatever happens after you die. And,
right.
And in some cases, when the people come back and they make it, maybe it is one of those things where it's like just like they described, don't go into the light. And maybe it's exactly that, like don't accept that fate. Don't do that. Come back here. Maybe it's that same situation.
I mean, do you think it's like mind over matter essentially? Because the human body doesn't die unless the brain does.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a huge part of it. Is it like your brain? Yeah, sure, you're sustaining major injuries, things are happening to you, whatever it is. But like your brain is the thing that's still functioning. Hence, your mind is still functioning.
Yeah.
So they're all hand in hand with each other.
Yeah, it's like your body could be going, your brain could be stalemate. Could be the other way around. You could be your brain's going 100% and your body's stalemated. But there have actually been legit studies into whether or not these out-of-body experiences are a real phenomenon or if it's a product of random residual brain functions, something that just randomly happened in the brain. One of these studies is the AWARE study, AWARE. The AWARE study stands for Awareness During Resuscitation and is a study of the brain and consciousness during cardiac arrests that began in 2008. 15 hospitals did it in the U.S., UK, and Austria. And I believe it was like a 4-year study. And the reason that they specifically chose cardiac arrest resuscitation is because once your heart stops, there is apparently no electrical activity in the brain. Like you did. Like during the cardiac arrest resuscitation, like you are apparently dead. And that's like that's like the time that they can officially, you are clinically dead, but it's common to bring people back from that,
Yeah, because the defibrillator essentially is sending electricity towards your heart. They hook up a defibrillator towards your chest, and that sends electric whatever, blah blah blah, towards your heart, and essentially like giving your heart back its beat. It's fascinating that you're saying that when the heart dies, all electric impulses stop in the brain, because I always thought it was the opposite way around.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the brain could just keep going and keep going,
Right. Well, it's like sidebar to that. Could you imagine like the creation of the defibrillator and like how fucked up society
We're gonna
probably
shock
was?
this dude.
Yeah.
Who created it? Was it Nikola Tesla? Like,
Yeah.
sounds like something he would probably make, right?
I mean, right now it sounds like you have to have it medically, but like back then it was probably like, what the fuck are you gonna hook up to my chest?
Yeah.
Nope.
Like how much electricity, like probing how much electricity you need, like
Because electricity, you can get electrocuted if it was more, or less than that, just a little shock. Like that's
like,
pretty fucked up.
Imagine the person who like clearly died, all right, and they're like in there and they have whatever crazy contraption a defibrillator was back then, and they shock him and he comes back and he's like, oh fuck! And like looks around at all the people just like looking at him, like his eyes are wide. He's like, oh my god! And then he's like, boom, out. Yeah. Like, we gotta bring him back again, and the guy just keeps getting tired of it.
Well, fucking shock him again, I guess. Shock him again.
Oh my gosh. That'd be crazy.
This particular experiment, the AWARE study, it consisted of not a very crazy sounding study, but this is real. They basically placed a shelf near the ceiling above patients' beds, and on that shelf, they would put like a symbol, a picture, a letter, a number, something like that. And it would be tons of rooms in the hospitals that this would happen. And they're very close to the ceiling, so the only way to see it is if you're right up there next to the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other vantage point in the room that could see this.
From that bird's eye view or from that high of a view, you can see it, but everywhere else you can't.
Yes, exactly. Afterwards, to conclude the experiment, they would interview the survivors. And there were 3 different levels of interviews. The first level was to see if the survivor had any perception or memory of the time during the cardiac arrest, resuscitation. Second level would be to determine if those memories or perceptions constituted a near-death experience. And third, to verify the accuracy of any audiovisual perceptions during that time. So, of the 2,060 patients studied, 140 of those survived and were able to be interviewed for the study. So right off the bat, you see that the survival rate for cardiac arrest is insanely low.
Yeah, it's not likely.
Not likely. Like, this is already going to be a hard study because it's cardiac arrest. People aren't surviving.
Yeah.
So out of those 140, 101 were able to give detailed interviews that were usable.
Mm-hmm.
Of those 101, only 9 were determined to have had an actual near-death experience that caused any kind of hallucination.
Sure.
So 2 of the 9 ended up having detailed memories of their surroundings, and one of those 2 was unfortunately too ill to carry on. The other one named several experiences that were verified as accurate. Oddly enough, both of the experiences with these 2 patients happened in a place in the hospital where the audiovisual target, the picture on the shelf, was not present, and therefore couldn't really confirm or deny the validity of the experiment. But some of the shit that this guy was able to verify was pretty dope. So the first thing he noted was he felt euphoric the entire time.
Yep.
He heard an automated voice saying, "Shock the patient, shock the patient." The medical records later confirmed that the use of an automated external defibrillator that actually gives those automated instructions was used. Tight. As he hovered above his body looking down on himself, the nurse and another dude, he described the other guy as a chunky guy with blue scrubs, and then he could tell he was balding based on the way he was wearing his hat or something pretty specific like that. Later recognized that same man in the hospital as one of the guys who was working.
Whoa, and he never...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... I mean, how else can you explain that besides out-of-body experiences?
Right, yeah, because, I mean, those are specific things. Like, you could imagine, there's a doctor with blue scrubs. Sure. Yeah, you can imagine that, but to know the specifics,
Point them out. And they're knocked out. They can't, wake up midway through and be like, all right, well, I see things now.
Right, and I guess the thing about the cardiac arrests is that these people are presumably there's no brain activity during the time of a cardiac arrest resuscitation.
Oh.
That's the deal. There's no brain activity. And that's why it was chosen for this experiment. Kind of weird. But it's determined that's kind of a flawed experiment. Too small of a survival rate from cardiac arrests.
Yeah, you're saying 104 survived and only 1 was able to give a detailed analysis? That's very small. And even if, let's say, several of those people had out-of-body experiences and they were hovering above their body or whatever. They can't explain them.
Yeah, what then are the chances that they notice this random item on a shelf? You know?
Yeah. I mean,
So kind of weird.
All I can remember from my very unscientific memories from my OBEs I can't remember half the things that happened. I can't remember if there was a certain hat or somebody looked a certain way. All I remember is me and the room I'm in or place I'm in. So it doesn't surprise me that the majority of them couldn't give detailed analysis, or even if they could find that object on the shelf, because like it's not like your everyday reality. Like this is like dreaming. And you can't. It's like, is this real? Is this not real? What's going on? So many questions. Whatever OBEs are, like it's not quantifiable. Like you can't like. I don't think you can personally like put a number on it and say, "Can you see this? Can you hear this?" It's like a hallucinogen. Like it's whoever the user is.
Well, I mean, there's got to be a way to ultimately prove it. You know, I guess they just haven't figured out the way to really test it.
The concept, I think, is provable.
This podcast is also sponsored by Future Monsters, a premier apparel store with pop culture and horror focus. Each product is handmade with quality materials, so not only does it look good, but it feels so good. No mass-produced cheap garbage here, with designs inspired by King Kong, the Wolfman, and much more. These shirts are a must for every occasion, whether it be nightclubbing, metal shows, weddings, and of course, our favorite, podcasting. Head over to futuremonsters.com and enter the code HYBRO, that's a capital HYBRO, at checkout to save 10% on your next purchase. We know we'll be doing that as soon as possible. Do you think maybe, and we might be getting into future podcast territory.
When aren't we, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, I don't give a fuck we are. But, I mean, does this basically prove somehow or another that we have a spirit that exists in our body
like
that's essentially, it's like a soul that can leave our body and move into something else, a soul with a consciousness?
I think that's the ultimate question. Like that seems to be what this answers, you know. And some people, a lot of people, and they, you know, the 2018s that we're living in, you know, the past 8 years or so, 10 years, the metaphysical jargon has really gotten a lot of people's brains. It's become a lot more mainstream, and a lot of people think that there's this little magical gland in your brain, and nearly every other vertebrate on the planet, called the pineal gland, that acts as the keeper of your soul.
What?
Right. So there is a gland in your brain called the pineal gland, and it is thought that when this bad boy is activated, it sends your soul into a more real reality.
Like the actual Matrix, essentially?
The actual Matrix. Which Matrix would it be? I think it would be the first Matrix that Neo would go to, like the one that's the construct.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, I think it would be that one.
I mean, do you...
Sounds like the ending of Harry Potter 3 with Sirius when his soul comes out of his mouth. That's how I view it.
I thought his soul came out of his butt.
No, he laid on his back when the memories were coming. Soul came out of his mouth.
Well, if you watch South Park, it's clear that souls come out of butts, because the last thing that everyone does when they die is they poop everywhere, and that's where the soul is released.
Your bowels get released out of either end. This is a true fact.
Bowel is Latin for ghost, by the way.
Oh, interesting. Well,
is it
not? It really?
Or is it Congoan for ghost, I believe? It's a language that is ghost, I'm sure of it.
If you leave a dead carcass out long enough and you put them on their face or their butt, either end, all the bowels and all the entrails, everything in your body will exit a hole. It's not always the butt.
Exit their a-hole?
Anywhere. Gravity will take it. Gravity will take it. That's a true fact. So I don't know if it's necessarily so it comes out of your butt. I think it's mouth. I'm going to say it's mouth. I don't know my soul got on one's butt.
Oh, Lord. Is there two questions. First question.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with one. Is there proof of this specific part of the brain that exists?
Yeah, how is that proof?
Is there scientific proof?
This piece of the brain exists. Like, really cool people have hypothesized that the pineal gland is responsible for the creation and synthesis of the ever powerful dimethyltryptamine, the same chemical found in the Amazonian ayahuasca. They say it's released in your brain at some point when you're a fetus and you begin life. Then when you die and it's time to go elsewhere, it's released. And then in near-death experiences, when you're seemingly connected to an entity other than your physical body.
Only those extreme situations. Birth,
only
death,
those
not
situations,
bodies.
yeah.
I mean, sounds like it.
I mean, do you think So my second question: do you think that the parts of our brain is classified information? Like from us?
I mean, yeah, this could be
frontal
something that
temporal.
they've known for a long time. Like this gland, the pineal gland, has been known about for years. It's been known about for a long time, and its agreed upon purpose at this point is that it secretes melatonin in the brain, and it aids in adjusting your circadian rhythms or your sleep cycles. So it's all about sleep cycle shit. And unfortunately, there is no proof that the pineal gland actually does secrete what is known as the spirit molecule, or DMT, or dimethyltryptamine. But there is also no proof that it absolutely is not created in the brain, making it entirely possible,
It's not impossible.
entirely
it's not possible.
probable that achieving an out-of-body experience is more than a hallucination.
Isn't that
Now-
like that's the whole thing about all this? Is like it's possible, but it's not possible. Like I
Yeah.
feel like we're told something is possible, and then whatever higher power, government, scientists, whatever, they backtrack on that shit, and they're like, "Oh wait, it's not possible because we don't want people to try to do certain things."
Well, I think for this specific point with the pineal gland and DMT, there was a documentary that came out called The Spirit Molecule. It was all about the DMT, and it was really like, it's fun to watch. It's fun to think about. A lot of people in the counterculture, the metaphysical, talkers, they kind of take it as a fact and as a study, and like the stuff that they represent, that they're saying and presenting is like absolute fact. While these people are scientists and they are studying these things, they're also saying that they're hypotheses. They haven't proven what they're saying. They're just proposing it. And people just kind of ran with it, and they just started saying, "Oh, the pineal gland, it secretes DMT. DMT exists in every being in the world, dude. It's secreted in your brain when you're born, when you die, and then near-death experiences when you want to float around.
It was the Valley Girl right now.
It's fucking weird, man." But but some
crazy,
people
man.
say that the release of this chemical in the brain is essentially what activates some other level of perception. Making you able or unable to perceive this new to you, more real reality. Maybe these things are always there, but we're just limited by our current set of senses. We're bound to the rules of this physical reality, and maybe what we are perceiving is technically less real than what can be experienced afterwards.
I bet money that like in Russia or Europe, somewhere, there's some sort of like secret speakeasy like place where you pay to go in, and they have some certain type of drug or chemical or something that allows you to tap in to that part of the brain to create an out-of-body experience for an X amount of time.
It sounds crazy.
Guys,
that could be drugs.
Guys, the whole excerpt I read in the beginning is exactly that. He's describing a DMT trip. It's even in the first line of it. He's describing a trip that he had on DMT, and how he had this profound vision. He had the feeling that something profound was told to him, and he just had to remember what the fuck it was because he had to tell everybody else because it's so profound. But he could never remember what it was.
That's what happens, man. That's what happens.
That's a typical experience. Yeah, a typical experience that people would describe with drugs like this is that's why it's called the spirit molecule, the God molecule, is because people take it and they think that they have some profound experience, like they feel like they're experiencing reality for the first time. Like what we're living in right now is reality, but there's more to it that we're just not seeing, like more colors, that don't exist kind of thought. You know what I mean? And like we just have to figure out what are these senses that we're not using? Is there a way to open up? Maybe there's not a way to in this physical realm. We deal with these cards that we're drawn, that we're dealt, and once we move on to the next, plane or whatever, through this conscious peanut called the pineal gland.
Do you see that same idea, Taylor, is the exact path? I'm not singling anybody out, but the exact path people rely on drugs either heavily or just recreationally. Just the thrill or the want, the drive to see like what is reality, what is out of body, because like a lot of things, alcohol, any intoxicant, honestly, acts similar to the dopamine receptors in your brainstem or this pineal gland, because it's just like what could be out there bigger than me.
Not even that.
Yeah.
I think foods, like there have been studies, not even drugs, like actual chemicals in the foods we eat can actually cause certain experiences in our brain that it's almost too much, and that's where the out-of-body experiences come from. Because like the shit that we're eating, I mean, like if I grabbed, the Mentos gum I'm eating, the chemicals and shit in it that I can't even pronounce, like what is that stuff doing to our bodies, and where is it going? I think that maybe that also has something to do with it.
Possibly, I would
Could
think.
have something to do it, and then you create this line where either there has to be some way to prove if something's real or not. Like when someone, like one case, a woman in a similar study, it was very similar to the shelf study, right? A woman described during her out-of-body experience seeing a red shoe on the roof of the hospital. Later, a red shoe was recovered from the roof of the hospital.
She put it there.
Possibly that she put it there. Possibly that she flew in on a helicopter and saw it, I guess, from a vantage point. It's possible. But I guess the line that you draw is when these experiences lead to real things that are there. Like there is proof. Like somebody described the chunky guy that's balding.
When does these non-provable or you can't disprove it? When does the non-disprovable ability become reality? Like when can you stop disputing it and say, you know what, this has to be real?
Right.
I think it's for the user. Right. I think it's for the user. If I knew that lady with the red shoe or the guy with the bald head, and I was there for that experience, I believe in it. And the same exact thing for me with my out-of-body experiences. Only when the person subjectively can experience it or know somebody that they trust that's experienced it in that situation. Unless it's like you, Taylor, that just wants to believe so badly in everything. And that point, then.
But we're talking about this and it's different, but like this is what I'm talking about. I think last week, the week before, I don't even remember what happened yesterday, but this is what I'm talking about when I say that the more podcasts we do, the closer we're going to get to like answers and things, and talking about these out of body experiences remind me of the possession story I told back in episode 3 about the exorcism.
Exactly.
And how that guy who was supposedly possessed by the quote unquote devil or a demon or whatever, told me about my childhood and like things that I did specifically. Like that sounds awfully similar to someone saying I had an out-of-body experience, that bald, chubby little man.
Yeah.
I remember him being in here saying X, Y, and Z. Like what makes an out-of-body experience different from, let's say, a possession of some sorts? Like, is there, and in all of my research of the exorcism episode, there was not a single bit of research about out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences, period. They were possessions, they were demonic, they were specific to one certain thing. There was nothing in my research about OBEs. And now, all of a sudden, here we are, and we've somehow connected the dots back to possessions.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
I would definitely see that from some standpoint. I think they could be different or similar. That specific experience, if you viewers remember in episode 3 with the demons, no one can explain the fact that he knew that you had a red scooter growing up. That's impossible.
Right. Nuts, except for, the statistic, who knows, maybe the statistics are high that there are a lot of red scooters. Like in the number of scooters that there are, maybe a majority of them are red.
This was essentially.
I mean, he was there. Like he watched, like he was watching me at a point in my life to recall that. And whether that is demonic possession, fine. But if that's some sort of OBE, like a time-traveling OBE, so be it.
Earlier you said that, or maybe Nick said that when this happens, these OBEs happen, you kind of trip into a more omnipotent or not omnipotent like understanding or being of like understanding. So Nick, are you saying that if that were the case, then when someone is quote unquote possessed or has some out-of-body spiritual realm, they then can hack into that knowledge? Because then almost everything paranormal could make sense in that aspect. That bank, that memory bank, that understanding bank that you can tap into when you die or when you is just accessible by things that are out of this realm.
Well, what if like and that's perfect guiding. You just held my hand and you walked me down a beautiful sidewalk onto a sunsetting beach.
Beautiful scene.
is an OBE truly something that is giving people a certain connection that's guiding them on to either back to our dimension, or is it guiding them on to the afterlife?
Yeah.
And if we're talking specifically about this possession, sure, I think OBEs are just like you're seeing things, and I think maybe it's like an OBE is as simple as it's reminding you that your feet are on the ground and that like you need to grasp what's around you, and that could be like the most simplistic approach to an OBE. Like one of the cardiac arrest patients who saw the picture, who heard the sound of the machine, who saw maybe that was their out of body experience to remind them, get your feet back on the ground, you're not done yet. Here's that. But then there are other people in terms of like the possession that I witnessed that we discussed back in episode 3 that maybe that OBE was specific to the person. Like maybe they needed the representation of innocence because, child innocence, like sure, it was directed towards me, but maybe there was something specific about that image that he had the OBE that was connected to a part of my life that was the innocence he needed to be reminded of in order to come back and get his feet back on the ground.
That's crazy.
That's a very profound path you went on. I followed you majority of the way, but that could be very possible.
I just like, what if OBEs are specific to what people need to find their way back to their own body?
If that's the case, then I need to find my way back to my body a good handful of times, guys. It's only a matter of time before I don't come back, guys. That's scary.
Well, yeah, and if these OBEs are real and they can be induced by, let's say, one of these drugs that some people do, does that mean that they're like nearing death?
Yeah.
Like if they're like tripping so close to like they go over the edge that they're like literally gone like into some other realm. I don't know, vegetabilized or whatever.
I would say I would. This would be my my example or my what's the word analogy is that when somebody takes some kind of hallucinogenic drug and they can experience an OBE, they're still tethered to whatever tree is on that cliff, and they can jump off and experience what afterlife or whatever that would be, but they still can climb back up, or that bungee cord still comes back up. But when you're nearing death, you don't have that bungee cord, that rope tied to that tree. You just jump off.
Right.
Man, I like that a lot.
Thanks, man.
That should be a T-shirt.
It'd be a depressing ass T-shirt right there. Take this drug. Don't cut the rope.
But like what Taylor said about the drugs is really fascinating. I think we're on a really good. We got a good flow here, guys. And I think the whole drug side of things, like, is it that they're nearing death to create an OBE? And think about it, like even smoking some weeds. It's a plant. It's a plant that induces some sort of hallucinogen. Like it is technically, if this plant was found originally, a tribe who found it would probably be like, this is poison, we can't eat it because our body is reacting. Just like when we get food poisoning, we vomit, our body trembles, we feel like we ate something that we shouldn't eat.
If that reaction was negative.
Right.
But if that reaction was positive,
they could think it's God. They could think
they're
it's
going to bring it in. They'd be like, oh my God. And you know what? That's exactly what happened because DMT is essentially ayahuasca. That's exactly what it is.
But like, if you think about inhaling, like our lungs are to inflate and deflate. Like it is what keeps us breathing. It's what
science.
Yeah, science, all that stuff. I can't really talk much further on because that's all I know. But like when you're filling your lungs with smoke, are you damaging yourself to the point of that you're having glimpses of like you're triggering your body that you're dying because it's like, holy shit, there's smoke in here. What the fuck? Oh shit.
I see what you're saying there, but there's far more harsh smokes that you can ingest that are just like make you cough.
I agree, but I would say it doesn't matter how harsh it is. I think it's your body's perception.
Just whatever that reaction
is. It would make
is.
sense why it's believed that your first experience with a foreign intoxicant, like not intoxicant, even like just like foreign chemicals, whether it's like nicotine or cigarettes, hookah, whatever the experience, weed, the first experience is often believed to be the most intense.
Right.
So people are always chasing that meth high because their first experience, their body thought they were going to die, essentially, is what you're saying. And then every time after that, their body's like, all right, maybe this isn't death, and then eventually just not death. And so they stop having those experiences.
It's like your body goes into fight or flight. Like when you take, you drop acid, you put the tab on your tongue and you swallow it. Like, all these things are ingested. Yeah. Everything is ingested. Yeah. Like even when you shoot up heroin or snort cocaine, like there are things that are unnatural to our bodies.
And it's like, am I dying?
And you can't if you if you get paper cuts enough, you're not going to stop feeling the paper cuts. Like your body's going to keep feeling those paper cuts. Like if you smoke enough weed or, do enough cocaine or
That sounds like a dope superhero name.
Cocaine. Here to blow your world away.
Blow. That was good.
Fun fact about the name Kane, the Undertaker, one of his early names actually contained the name Kane in it. Odd.
Interesting.
Also, people that are elderly hold canes. All these things are related back to the afterlife. Oh my god!
Anyway, I think the unnatural ingestion of drugs that have clearly been tested to have our bodies respond could be enough to trigger our body to go into almost some sort of
afterlife thing.
Like
one of the weird things about it is the people who are really on the pineal gland train, and that it's it's this metaphysical, piece of awesomeness. It's our third eye, essentially. They want to believe that these chemicals are not only ingestible to produce these hallucinogens or out-of-body experiences, but they're saying that they are. It's possible that they're created in our brain, like they are in our brain, created, and that is what brings us into consciousness. Like makes us. Like, it's what brings our soul into the body when we're a fetus, and it's what takes it out when we die.
I'd believe it.
And that near-death experiences is maybe just that time in between where it doesn't know which way to go. So these people, while, the ayahuasca stuff is a foreign substance to your body, the basis of their idea is that it exists in your body, and they're just adding to it, I guess.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
One of those weird things... It is apparently possible to induce an OBE by agitating one's right angular gyrus.
That sounds painful for sure.
Taylor, what did I tell you about talking about the gyrus agitation on the podcast?
Can't be talking about agitating one's gyrus on the podcast too much, and I'm almost positive that's how you pronounce it.
We're going to lose another sponsor.
Yeah. But studies have shown that this area of the brain is responsible for handling the perception of ourselves and computing the sensory info that that we sense, all of our sensory perceptions, the senses that we sense, and it's what gives you a sense of perception of like, here I am, this is where I'm at. It gives you like
consciousness,
I am I,
sentience.
It kind of gives you like a bearing of where you are. You're able to use your balance, in your ears, your sight, your distance. You're able to use all that and calibrate it into one working location kind of thing.
I'm going to go home tonight and agitate my gyrus.
So by agitating
one
this,
agitate gyrus?
Yeah, please tell me.
Fuck if I know. I'm apparently it takes a doctor to do this. Apparently it takes a doctor to do this. There goes the other two sponsors. No, but apparently by agitating one's right angular gyrus, however they do it in the laboratory, Dexter would agitate these gyruses, and the person would 100% of the time have an out-of-body experience. But the ones that they would describe are slightly different. Like they would be hovering above themselves, but instead of seeing their whole body and details of the room, it was more of an obvious imagined construct. Like they're above themselves, and they can see. They're looking down, but they can only see like the bottom half of their body, like torso down, like
which way you
as
see
the same shit that they would see in a point of view, in their own point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of like if you're looking at your arms, they look shorter or they look longer, like really simple stuff.
Yeah.
Not details that existed in the room, but like imaginary constructs based on what you expected. So that is kind of like, okay, wait, we can create an OBE for sure, 100% of the time by agitating this right angular cortex, or right angular gyrus, not the cortex, let's not get confused. But while on the other hand, it's impossible to agitate whatever part of the brain in some way, possibly the pineal gland or third eye, and have this actual experience where the person they don't think that they're imagining this. Like in this case, they knew that they were constructing this in their mind. In these DMT experiences and other experiences, and true out-of-body experience, the overwhelming feeling that it is real is what persists. The overwhelming feeling that it's real and that, hey, get over how shocking it is. This is real. Just accept it. This is the way things really are. Like that's what everybody reports. That's what everybody talks about. And it's like this profound feeling of learning something new that's like undescribable kind of thing.
Well, listeners,
It's
if you know how to agitate one's gyrus or stimulate the third eye,
Come
please
agitate ours.
email us at hybrothoughts@gmail.com or come agitate our gyrus.
Yeah. We should have an agitation gyrus party.
Yeah, we're going to have an agitated gyro workshop.
Which I'm pretty sure Hasbro makes a unit that agitates the gyro.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's by Hasbro. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm just going to keep touching myself until I find the gyro.
No, it's by
the
Blammo. It's Blammo. It's better than Batiscan.
Blammo. That's so Taylor, you just said so many scientific words. I don't know if I disagree with you, or think you're crazy, but you sounded so fucking knowledgeable.
Pie
about
charts, graphs, numbers,
Dude, it was crazy.
averages,
Give this man
stuff
a
like that.
PhD.
Exactly.
That's
Boom.
crazy, man.
Listeners, chicks, if you like smart dudes, I'm a smart dude.
Taylor's
Chicks, if you like goofy dudes, maybe I'm that. Chicks, whatever you like, I'm
Taylor's
probably
anything.
that.
He's anything you want him to be.
Are
Anything you
plantains
want,
and
baby.
bananas even the same thing?
I don't give a shit. I eat them
Ditto
both.
from-
Put cinnamon on them both.
Oh man.
Man, this episode, like,
Blew my that yeah, it's cool, man.
what a mind fudge.
What a mind warp, and not just a mind warp like, well, that was weird, but we literally could have taken it to another dimension, a more real reality, newer to you and me, one that we've never experienced, a new reality, boys.
You sound like the guy that was trying to sell me to play skeet ball at the circus when I was a 8-year-old boy.
Come on.
It's $20 for one throw,
Fuck you!
and here's a $20 bill. Give me my throw.
No, you give me that big-ass teddy bear right there that's got the sunglasses
Big
on.
ass teddy bear.
You take my $20, I'm not throwing no ball in no skeet holes.
Skeet.
Oh, it's good.
Well, damn.
A fun
good
little
time.
side note just to chew on. Francis Crick imagined the double helix structure of DNA while on LSD. Fun note.
Dude, some of
Really?
Yeah.
it's believed that Prince was was it Prince or Jimi Hendrix? One of them, I think it was Jimi Hendrix.
Both.
Actually.
Jimi Hendrix, absolutely.
Jimi Hendrix used to slice his
His
forehead
forehead
with a
open.
razor blade
Yeah.
and put LSD,
Yeah.
like rub it into it, and then wear the headband.
Cress.
Dude,
So
like-
his Ladyland, whatever recording studio, Ladyland, whatever it's
Yeah.
called, the whole, one of the whole rooms is basically painted with giant murals of what could be described as a DMT trip.
Oh man.
PSA, we do not
Condone.
condone DMT trips.
LSD
But
Oh,
but if you have the guitar prowess of a young Jimi Hendrix, don't hold back. Do what you got to do. Give me riffs.
Taylor,
Give me riffs.
Taylor, we can't be telling people that.
Wait, that's not what a PSA is. I meant just write good riffs.
Yeah, drug free. Stay at Dare.
Drug free, write riffs.
Don't assess red with envelopes. Dare.
What's happened?
That's what Dare stands for, right?
What just happened?
Double alphabet rainbow elephants. Dare. Don't do drugs, kids.
I'm pretty sure there's an analogy, or there's an
Drugs
abbreviation.
against responsible
Ukuleles.
eucalyptus. What does dare
Is
mean?
it drugs against real
Eagles.
America? Fuck yeah!
I don't know. What does
Look it
DARE
up.
stand
It
for?
is.
I gotta
I'm pretty
Google
sure
it.
it's
Hang
DARE.
on,
It's
hang
DARE
on.
is drugs against something.
I remember
Drugs
the lion.
against? That makes no sense, though.
Drugs against red.
DARE.
What's E? Is that
Drug
one?
abuse resistance education.
DARE.
To resist drugs and also violence.
Only you can prevent forest
So,
fires.
guys, if you have the guitar prowess of a young Jimi Hendrix, please do not do DMT, but please write me hot riffs and keep them coming, please.
Beautiful. What a good episode. That was a good
man.
episode.
What, Taylor? You've come in clutch yet again. And the funny thing is, guys, we have a list of about 100 topics that
It's
Taylor and I
100?
share. Yes, about
Oh my
100.
God, how was that many?
100 billion gazillion.
And there's so many. And these last 3 episodes have all been
Top notch.
not on that list.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We're trying to pull from left field. We got to leave that list intact for the dark days.
So there's a bank you guys have, but you're not pulling from the bank. You're pulling from your wallet.
Exactly.
Yeah, pulling from the hip.
So
Shooting from the hip, man.
How many are you not? Are you done including this list? Do you have like 1,000 in your brain? You're just not going to put in this list?
I don't know, man.
I mean, anytime they pop
Wow.
up, we'll pop on a list.
We'll put them in.
Fascinating.
quick word about one of our sponsors, GLORP Gum. I don't know how many of you highbrows out there have checked this shit out, but I just got my GLORP Gum shirt in the other day. I got the Frank Up the Jam shirt. Dope as fuck. I already knew it looked cool when I ordered it, right? But I got it in, and it turned out to be 1,000% more meaningful and a dope shirt than I could have ever imagined. So you look at the bottom of this thing, and it says Atlanta's Party Monster FM, whatever. Party Monster Station. Power 99 FM. Yeah. Dude, at the time, early 90s, what station was I listening to? What station was molding Young Taylorius Maximus's mind?
Power 99?
Dude, it later turned into 99X, Atlanta's like rock station.
Dude, that's
WNNX.
metaphysical shit.
Metaphysical
shit.
as fuck, dude. Like the most influential time in my life where I'm ready to suck in music, man. And this radio station is one that was pumping it into my face. And years later, they pop up with this dope ass shirt. Like, thank you, GLORP Gum. Awesome design.
Speaking of sponsors, Future Monsters also sent Taylor a dope ass shirt, and he got multiple compliments on it at a previous convention.
Lots of compliments on the King
They
Kong
complimented
shirt.
on the size of my pecs and the way that the shirt emphasized the size of my pecs. So, dude, if you're trying to look buff,
Tay's got big
go
boobs.
with the Future Monster shirt.
He wore it.
Buff.
He wore it at night when we all shared the same bed together, and it was real soft. Wait,
This never happened.
Oh my god, that was not a divine experience, Nick, for sure.
Yeah, guys, I wasn't even in the same room as y'all right now.
What the fuck
An
happened?
OBE, it may have been an NDE.
That was OBE, now you know me.
Nah, NDE.
NRB?
Sweet. Awesome. So, got a hypothetical you want us to, I don't even know what the fuck just happened. Got a hypothetical you want us to talk about? Or a thought you'd like to share about today's episode? Well, good news. You can shoot us an email at hybrothoughts@gmail.com. That is HYBROTHOUGHTS@gmail.com. And who knows, maybe your hypothetical will be featured on next week's episode. Also, make sure to head over to the Facebooks and give us a like. Just click that little thumbs up button right there if you don't know how the Facebooks work. At facebook.com/hybrothetical thinking. That's facebook.com/hybrothetical thinking. And we post tons of content throughout the week, pictures, videos, merch soon. And last but not least, which we haven't talked about until now, guys, if you're sitting here listening to an hour and 20 minutes of this podcast, just go into Stitcher or TuneIn or iTunes and just leave a little review for us.
Ooh, tell us how cool we are.
Yeah.
Please, just riff on me and give me a huge roast.
Tell us what's up.
Johnny, I hate you.
Yeah.
TAYLORIOUS.
Taylorius.
That's it.
Now you know. Knowing is at the battle.
If you don't, if you don't know, now you know. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for another awesome episode. We're super excited. We're gonna be back same time next week, and
Same time, different topic.
same time, different topic.
Boy.
Another day, another day. With that being said, I still am. I've never have been. I'm still the same person. I'm Nick.
I might as well be Taylor.
I'm your residential Johnny.
And guys, thank you. God, 10 episodes.
Dude, that's my favorite number. 10 is a glorious number.
10 is great.
10s are everywhere. That's the number of
10.
the universe. I'm telling you.
10.
10s are
10.
everywhere. It's a number of glory.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.